Happy March, friends. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Wow, it just really feels like this year is going by so fast. I can't believe, spring is on Sunday. Like the first day of spring is on Sunday, which also means that my due date is coming up in like 7 weeks. So, wow. We are preparing to welcome spring into our home, preparing to welcome a new baby into our home. You know, work is still very slow. I don't know what it is about January through April, but the last couple years that we've been doing freelance full-time, it's just been slow. Trying not to stress out too much and fill my time with things that I hope will create revenue for us in the future, like this YouTube channel. And something exciting that went up this week was a Skillshare class. My first Skillshare class is up. This class is supposed to help you with your portfolio. So if you're looking to beef up your portfolio for illustration work, especially in the children's literature industry, then you should definitely go take my class. I'll leave a link in the description below. You get a free month of Skillshare when you sign up with that link, and you get to take my class. You can take any other classes you want. Obviously, you don't have to keep the membership, but if you do, then it also helps me out. If you end up signing up. I really hope that you enjoy the class. I spent a lot of time on it, and I had a lot of fun doing it, so I'm excited to make more. That's something I'm going to do this week, is start on my next class. So definitely check it out. Let me know what you think. If you have suggestions for future classes, I would love to hear them. So yeah, winter is ending, spring is coming, hopefully with the promise of more work and financial stability and growth in our careers and with our family, inviting a sweet little baby. We're super excited for spring, and I thought that since I don't really have much work this week, that I would dabble in some gouache and traditional art again. I have a sketch that I did back in January. It's like a kind of wintry things that are cute and cottagey in a wintry theme, and I thought that as a way to say goodbye to winter that I would paint it. And then have some fun chatting with you while I do that. So that's what this video will be. Definitely don't forget to check out my Skillshare class, and let's just get going on the painting. Okay, it's time to start this little bit of a chatty paint with me. I wanted to try doing one because that's what I like to watch with my favorite art creators here on YouTube. So I hope that you enjoy listening to me chat about. We'll find out. I am starting this painting by using just black paint and a really long thin brush, just going over the little details so that when I lay the colors down, I don't lose all of the sketch and then have to basically come up with it on my own again. So the black shows through the paint well enough that I am able to go in and finish those little details once I've put the colors down. That's actually a technique or tip that I learned from Sibylline, because I'm using her gouache kit right now. The paints, the palette, the brushes, and the sketchbook, they're all from her gouache kit that she sells with Masery. And she has like a book that she kind of talks about how she does her paintings, and that's where I learned the little black paint before you put down color tips. So I highly recommend that kit for anyone who's wanting to get started in gouache. I've really enjoyed the materials and her instruction that she includes with it, so highly recommend. Also, sorry about my voice. We have a little bit of a cold going around our family. It's just typical for, parents always sick. . 。 . 。 . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . 。 . doing these black lines has actually gotten me interested in doing some coloring pages. I haven't done just like straight up line work, just black and white line drawings in forever, and doing it just for this painting has made me kind of want to do more. It's been really fun, and I kind of like the idea of maybe doing like a monthly seasonal page and maybe putting it up as a digital download on Etsy. I don't know. What do you think about that? Would you enjoy a coloring page from me? I think I might try doing it. It sounds fun, and if I can have fun with art, then that's something that I try to pursue. On that note, that's part of why I really love gouache is, well, obviously I'm very much still a student. I'm not a professional. I'm still learning all the ins and outs of using this medium, but why I love it so much is because I do have so much fun with it. It just feels so different from digital art. Digital art is almost like an extension of myself now. I've been doing it for years and years and years. Pretty much all of my art education was done digitally. It's just part of me. And because it's my job, pretty much all of my money I make from art, I make doing digitally. It has lost that sparkle that it used to have when I was learning art and learning to work digitally, and just doesn't bring me that joy and creativity that I used to get. And that's something I'm always searching for, is a way to find joy through art again. And doing traditional art has opened that joy for me again. It is just so fun to learn and to like struggle with it, and I love doing it. And I think part of it is like I love mixing paints. That's like such a fun thing to do. And so I just am really enjoying learning how to use gouache, and maybe I'll branch out someday and try oil paints. That'd be exciting. I'm trying to find a balance though, because I'm making content around the digital painting, traditional painting. I don't want it to lose that luster just because I'm making content around it. So I need to find that balance where I can still be creative and learn and not fear mistakes, but also be able to share that with you all here on YouTube and TikTok and wherever else I end up sharing it. So I don't know, is cottagecore overdone these days? Are people sick of cottagecore? I am so not sick of cottagecore. I don't think I ever will be sick of cottagecore. I was into, I guess you could say, the aesthetic of cottagecore well before it even got the name. When I found out that it had a name, I was so stoked because I finally had a name for this thing that I've been obsessed with forever. I've just always very felt connected to nature and mountains. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, so you basically grow up living in a enchanted forest. It's so beautiful up there. So I grew up playing in forests and in streams, and I also grew up on Anne of Green Gables and Jane Austen and kind of all, even like Little House on the Prairie, which that is all very cottagecore. We also had goats growing up, and so and I also had an aunt, now that I think about it. I had an aunt who would come down from Washington, and she's a fantasy writer, and I always think of her like the traveling bard, because she would come down from Washington and she had all of these kind of obscure fairy tales memorized. And I just remember sitting at her feet and she would tell these fairy tale stories, and I really attribute a lot of my love for fantasy and fantastical elements to that. So I think just all of those things combined have kind of that's just how I've always loved cottage, fantastical, woodsy, beautiful, antique fashion. So, cottagecore may be overdone now for some, but I don't think it will ever end. My love for it will never end, and I hope that you enjoy my often cottagecore content. I think lately too, I've especially been inspired by the slow living and intentional aspect of cottagecore, particularly in like the spiritual realm. Having a kid made me really want to be present. I didn't want things to pass me by, and I just felt like I needed to find a way to be engaged and present and enjoy life. And I found that this kind of like slow living with the seasons has really become very important to me. Lately, I've really connected a lot of my intentionality and spirituality to the rhythms of nature. I've been learning a lot about each season and how the way that animals and nature works within that season is also how my life should work with that season. For example, I used to hate winter, and I would complain about winter the whole winter. I hated the snow. I just was always pining for warm weather once the cold weather started. But as I've kind of connected this like spiritual sense with nature, I've tried to enjoy winter and live it intentionally, which has actually worked out really well for me. I really enjoyed this last winter. If you think about it, winter is for slowing down, and I heard this really unique and interesting way of thinking about it. So flowers that grow from bulbs you plant in the fall, and then they bloom in spring, and so you have this whole winter where they appear to be doing nothing. They're just in the ground. But what you find is that they're actually germinating, and there's a lot of important work happening in the ground during the winter. And so should we as humans take that time in the winter to germinate, to slow down, and to mourn, even to just have a period of time where you're not go trying to do everything, which we tend to make goals in January, but being cozy, finding time to just kind of settle in and work on just processing your life. I don't know if that makes sense, but all that work that you do in the winter, then you can put into spring, and you can bloom, and you're reborn. You can let go of things that don't serve you anymore. I don't know. I just think that's such a lovely idea, and to think that in the spring that I will change, my family will change. We're literally going to grow in the spring with another child, and I'm just excited for the spring and all that comes with it. When PJ was born, I had this huge surge of creative energy come into my life, and I'm just excited to see if that happens again with this next child. I don't know, something about maybe just realizing like, wow, I created a human being. Maybe that just made me feel extra creative, but I am hoping that happens again. I'm excited to see what fruits the hard work that I did in the winter grow in the new season. I definitely mourned some things in the winter and let go of things, and I think that it will all be for the best, and I'm so excited to see that growth. So thank you for coming with me on this journey, and I hope that you will enjoy seeing what I am able to do and make in the rest of this year. I hope that you too will find ways to bloom in this spring, whether that's with art or relationships or whatever else is going on in your life. Find ways to go outside and go see the blooming flowers. Oh, that just is the best. So I wish you well. Thank you so much for joining with me in this video. I love you all. Thank you for being here with me. I'll see you next time.